Please welcome our last presenter today, Clayton Hatch.
Okay, so my name is Clayton Hatch, and this is my senior project. So just a little bit of a background. I was born in June 29th, 2001, and I was originally from Saginaw, but then I moved to Byron when I was the age of 4, and so I've been coming to the Byron area schools for all my life, so I pretty much know almost all of you ever since I've been in kindergarten. And I have an older sister named Ashley, and she graduated in 2014, I believe. And I have a little brother named Curtis, and he's 1 grade below us, so he's a junior. So he's gonna have to do this next year. And I have a mom and a dad, Michelle and Wesley, but sadly they couldn't be here. And for extracurricular school activities, I've done 2 years of cross country, and I have done 4 years of track and field. So for my career intentions, I really want to go into just composite manufacturing because I really love just like pretty much making anything. I usually love the crafts and stuff. I really loved it ever since I can remember. And for its original pay, it would start off small, like as probably $11 to $12 an hour. But as you still progress, the pay would go up. So about the average would be $21 an hour. And for just any training, you would only need a high school diploma. And once you could land a job like this, you could get training while working. So pretty much like the manager would train you while you're working in the factory. So for the start of this senior project, we all had to do a 15 or 10-page essay. And all I can remember was just hearing the complaints on how difficult or challenging, boring, brutal this project was. And as a junior, I remember upperclassmen also complaining too, but I only remember a handful saying that it was a pretty easy essay. Just you gotta pick something that's really passionate. But what difficulty I had was I didn't know what specific social issue that I was passionate about, so I had to look it up and figure out myself. But one that really stood out to my mind was homeless veterans and how they struggle to find sustainable housing and they just live on the streets after they fought for us. So after doing numerous hours of research, Ms. Travis taught all of us how to make a proposal, an annotated bibliography, and our 10-page essay. And I'll be honest, I only got to 9.5, but I was really motivated after learning how homeless veterans really struggle and how much we are just ignoring them and we really don't do anything to help, but we rely on others. But yet there are no really others to help them. So that's what I'm going to say.
Even though most charities are already helping homeless veterans, they are still in need of help. You can play a part in ending homelessness for vets by becoming aware of programs in your area and doing what you can to help. Please help in any means in order to help those who have fought for our freedom. Thank you.
So even after researching the homeless veteran facts, I still find it shocking how just many little is help to those who have fought for us. And even though there are just a handful of charities that are helping, there's still, as our society and as a community, we still barely help, and there are still only like about 40,000 veterans who are still suffering of homelessness. And so as my community service, I sent a letter to the senator about the homeless situation in Michigan and I offered ways how we can help the homeless. And I didn't take any pictures of what I was doing for community service hours, but I have done about 14 hours of block spinning with my family and helping other friends, so trying to clear out their forest and trying to regrow their forest. So for the rest of the senior project, the resume and my cover letter, and I also did an interview. The resume and cover letter, they were one of the easiest things that I felt like I had no problem with. But with the interview, I found a dental hygienist who was very kind, and I was really interested in the dental field, and I wanted to ask questions on what kind of pressure it was like to just to work on other people's teeth and their health, and just like one little screw up, I want to know what would happen if that little screw up happens and what the consequences that they could face. And I also wanted to see if it would be a viable option to go in, or for a field of work to go in. And they would say that really anybody can enjoy it, but if the people who are more passionate about it would definitely mostly enjoy it. So for my inspirational person, I have picked Danny DeVito. So he is a 4'10" man, so he is pretty small, but due to him being a 4'10" and having all those lead roles in many Hollywood movies, he's had to struggle and overcome many obstacles so many times in his life in order to get to where he has been. And ever since that he has been at this point, he has been one of the most generous human beings that you could ever meet. There has never been any person who has had any sort of hate towards him, and he's just really generous towards his friends, family, and even random citizens who find him as an inspiring person. So for these two different articles of our senior project, I really find that this was where I could be the most creative for my stream of consciousness and the explore the moment. I was told that we could use our college admission essay, but instead I was just trying to explore the moment of when I was working on my senior project and how I was feeling towards the last 30 minutes of typing on the last essay that I had to type. And for my stream of consciousness, I had many dreams of what I would want to go to, but I decided for one of my dreams it would be teaching in the science field, because I really like the astronomy and really the geosystems field I really love. So that was one of my dreams that I decided to write about. And this is for my cliche vision board. I picked a Range Rover SUV. I just like the luxury look to it, and I had a 1980 Corvette because I really like the slick look it has on the body, and I just wanted a nice luxury sports car. And I have just cash. I mean, everybody wants to live rich. I don't know who doesn't. And I just wanted like a normal size home. And I really love riding motorcycles too. It's just really fun, and it's really different compared to riding in a car. And I have a Caterpillar leopard dog because I currently have one now, and she's starting to get old. But as I want to get old, I want to have a Caterpillar dog just like the one I have currently, because she is definitely like one of the greatest. Or I would just recommend I would recommend having a Caterpillar leopard dog because they are one of the most caring and childlike dogs that you can ever have. And I just wanted a normal size one too. Not too big, not too soft. And this was one of the parts of the senior project that I was really most proud of, which is my family heritage. Because I got to talk to my family, and I really got to notice where I truly came from and who I truly am. Like, from my mother's side of the family, I'm part Polish and Irish. But from my father's side of the family, I was American Indian. And I really don't know a whole lot about my mother's side because she hardly remembers any of her family. But from my dad's side, I got to learn more about my grandma and grandpa, like how they met and who they were. But sadly, I never got to meet my grandpa because when my father was at the age of 10, he was killed in a car accident. From the stories that he told me and from my grandma, he sounded like a real genuine guy, and I really wish I would have met. And for my letter to parents, because sadly they couldn't make it because they both had to work. And they just no matter what I do, like if I screw up or anything, they just do whatever they can to help me. And I'm really happy that they never given up on me, no matter how much I screw up. And I love how they had the best intentions for me and support me through my future. And I just really wish I could get them here. But for my future plans, I'm also taking a year off so I can discover what I really want to do with my future. But in the meantime, I am going to have a summer job, and probably after the summer, I still am going to work, but I also at least want to take a vacation to Los Angeles or San Francisco. I just really think they are just one of the most beautiful cities in America, and I just really love to visit San Francisco and actually tour the Alcatraz Island. And for my 3 to 6 letter quote, I pick spread goodness and create goodness, because if you're the type of person that could just spread good into this community or in our society, then more likely than not, somebody else would be there to spread the goodness to anybody else. Okay, any questions?
Is there a coach or a teacher that, I know your inspirational person was Danny DeVito, but that would be an inspirational person to you, that you just a mentor?
I would definitely pick Coach Lake as an inspirational person, because as seen her in a cross-country camp or in track and field, I just see the strong bond that she has towards her students and her athletes and her children. And it's just really inspiring, and I wish I could have a bond like that with anybody else.
What's your favorite Danny DeVito movie?
There's a lot. I'd say like my favorite TV show from Danny DeVito would be It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's dark comedy, I would say, but it's just really funny, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it.
For your PSA about the homeless veterans, do you think the homeless veterans that get like dishonorably discharged, do you think they should be like as long as ones that get an honorable discharge?
For the ones that are dishonorably discharged, I feel like they should have at least just like a little bit of help towards many charities, because they still have fought for our country though. But just the ones that are discharged, I feel like they could just have a little bit less than the ones who are honorably discharged.
Your essay does a good job about explaining why veterans are more susceptible to homelessness. Can you briefly explain why veterans are more susceptible?
Mostly the veterans that have been honorably discharged have PTSD, and most of them really have trust issues like associated with anybody else. And that's why they really want to seclude themselves from society, because they feel like they can hardly trust anybody else.
So obviously our government has tried public housing systems before, and they've kind of failed miserably. Do you think that the United States should revamp public housing systems for homeless veterans throughout the United States?
Yes, I think it should.
Okay, add on to that. How do you think we should do it?
I'm not exactly sure how we should do it yet, but I just know that we should at least try again, because we should just try again, because most of the veterans honorably discharged, they deserve a little more than just living off in the streets.
Well said. Three fine performances today. I'd like to thank you all for coming and thank the parents and the grandparents for sharing your children with us. Let's give a hand to the judges. Ms. Swoboda. Okay.